Okay, so let me tell you what happened with my new camera. I've wanted a Sony camera for some years now. I've liked the color science in Sony cameras, at least since A7s II. And I know that's not the latest camera, but it is a camera I've always had my eye on. And I've felt like if I ever do go Sony, I'd like that or something in that line. It wasn't in the budget anytime soon, so I was looking at an A6400 just to do some of the vlogging kind of setups for these kind of talking head setups. And I looked on Facebook Marketplace. I thought, let's see what I can get used, see if I can get a little bit of a deal, save the tax and that sort of thing. And I ended up finding an A7s II for pretty much the price of the A6400, A6500. And I thought that's great. The only issue was that the screen had this fading and kind of, it looked damaged. But if you know about this issue, you know that it's not that difficult to fix. And the other issue was that the frame hinge on the screen that allows you to flip it up was bent. And that's because, and the guy told me this, is that he dropped the camera. It had happened a year and a half prior. But the system was working perfectly. The camera works perfectly. The only issue was that it wouldn't completely close on the back. And I got a little bit anal about that, and I felt like I need to try to fix that. So I didn't want to do major surgery on it, and I looked up what you need to do. There was no way I was replacing the hinge assembly, and it wasn't that bent, and it didn't matter that much, but I thought, let's see what I can do. I fix cameras a lot. I've disassembled lenses and reassembled them, and they come out better. I'm not one of these guys that screws up electronic gear. I can actually do this. So I thought, there's really only 4 screws to pop a portion of the screen off. It's still connected by the PCB board and a little cable. And I thought, well, if I go further than that, I really got to get into a full disassembly. I thought, let me just do that. I'll have the screen kind of sit off of the camera a little bit. It's still connected, and I'll just try to bend the frame back in place. I did some bending and put it all back together and closed it, and everything was working, but it still wouldn't close completely. It was maybe a slight bit better, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I left it for a day or two, and then I went back to it again. I thought, I can really do this. Let me try again. So I disassembled it. And again, not a full disassembly, just pulled the screen off, and I started bending the frame again. But this time I had grabbed a piece of the screen, and I felt like I was keeping it separate from the frame. But obviously not, because I heard the screen go snap in my hands. I'd screwed up my camera. And to add insult to injury, I know someone in the industry, someone who's actually a Sony dealer, and I called him up and I looked into what it might cost. Obviously, they haven't seen the camera yet, but just ballpark costs, and another dealer as well I checked with, and yeah, the price was going to be about 400 and change plus tax Canadian. I paid $800 for this camera. I couldn't justify that, but I can't justify losing the camera completely. So I figured, you know what? And I can't fix these things. Why I didn't jump to fix it right away is because I just screwed up my camera. It was like a kid touching a hot stove. I felt like I don't want to go back in there. But I left it for a couple of days, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to order the part. I found on eBay a place, unfortunately it was across the country, and through COVID and everything else, it was going to take over a month to get here. But I thought, well, I don't really have much of a choice. I'm going to order it, and it was like $50. And I ordered it, and I had to wait. And the big issue here for me, the stress issue here for me, was that the PCB board that's right behind the screen could possibly be damaged as well. And the reason why I suspected that might be the case is because in this crack, it was just the color around the crack, but I wasn't seeing any video image beyond that when I powered on the camera. So I really felt like there was a strong possibility that I had messed up the board somehow as well. So that was the longest month of my life waiting for this part to come in. Anyway, the part came in after slightly over a month, and I did my little disassembly, and I was able to install the new screen, put all the screws back in place, and powered it on, and it worked. So I have my camera back, and I had done a little bending since the screen was out of it completely anyway, and I feel like it closes a little bit better now. I don't think the screen will ever sit perfectly because the frame itself is bent, and in order to change the whole frame, you've got to do pretty much a full camera disassembly the way it works. So I'm not doing that. Anyway, it works perfectly. I'm leaving it alone. I'm just using it. It's still solid as, new pretty much. It's just that it has that little bend so it doesn't completely close. Anyway, I think that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you can relate to my disaster I created here, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'm really trying to be more consistent. I've got my A7S II now, lots of color grading videos and filmmaking how-tos. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.